were kind of touching on it before. I just want to, let's quickly jump into this. Steven Adams is now a piece of that trade, with the Drew Holiday trade. What are your thoughts? I mean, obviously you're kind of touching on it before, but what are your thoughts in terms of like, has our roster improved from last year? Let's also talk about like, Okafor leaving, D Faves leaving, and who was in the market available, like Aaron Baines, and other kind of centers, maybe even like someone like Miles
Serge
Turner.
Ibaka as well.
Serge Ibaka. There's that, and then after that, I just want to see like, what do you think in terms of like, has our roster improved from last year, and also, how do you see the fit in terms of Steven Adams with Zion and all our cats? Speaking of which, before we even properly get into that, very interesting fact that you linked me is that Zion Williamson is actually the longest tenured Pelicans player right now on our roster, which is quite freaking crazy,
Yeah, the veteran locker room guy, mate. One season and he's thrust into the vet role and the leadership role.
Yeah, because see you later to D Mill and shit like that. But we'll get more into like all our roster updates later on. But let's talk about Steven Adams right now. What are your thoughts, baby?
Yeah, so I went through Steven Adams a bit. I won't repeat myself too much. But in terms of like bringing him in, I think it's a positive for our defense, our help defense. He'll be better at that. He's a good screen setter and much better than D Faves. So I think he'll bring those kind of intangibles, like I mentioned. He'll bring that toughness, a good mentality to the team, and a good kind of locker room presence that I think we need. Whereas I think D Fave is quite like a quiet kind of guy. And then lastly, just great at setting screens and bring that kind of grittiness that we need in the team at the moment. I think most importantly is the fit, right? So I think the good question you asked is like, what is the fit with the roster, and how do I think the roster sort of turned out? I actually think overall the roster kind of got worse, but that's basically more so because of Drew leaving. So I think he leaves a massive defensive void, which Bledsoe kind of matches, but not as good. And then we kind of miss out on Drew kind of making good plays, being able to pass, which I think Bledsoe's a bit inconsistent. So while I think the fit of Steven Adams actually is better than D Favors as a fit, I still think overall the roster kind of got a bit worse. And I think, that potentially could be sort of intentional in terms of maybe we're going to flip Bledsoe, and then as well as we're obviously just, banking on assets. We're collecting assets like Sam Presti kind of is, and just hoping to draft another superstar, another generational player to fit our timeline with BI and Zion a bit more. So that's my thoughts. Like I said, the fit's probably better, but overall team got slightly worse, in my opinion. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like you keep on mentioning it. Yeah, like he's like probably like a great like a screen setter. What's called Steven Adams and everything like that. The main kind of thing though is that Steven Adams is probably the strongest, if not one of the strongest. Probably is the strongest freaking dude in the league, right? He's a Kiwi. He used to be a rugby player, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, bro. Like we Aussies, bro. Like we talk shit on Kiwis, bro. But let's not talk shit, bro. When it comes to rugby, they're always beating us, bro. All blacks are always shitting on the Wallaby. Oh, was it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, Wallabies. Not even a competition.
It's not even a competition. So like, as much as we want to call them sheep shaggers, right? How I see it, bro. It's hectic the fact that we've actually got, because it's gonna be hard, almost impossible to get a freaking Aussie on the Pelicans team, but at least we got a Kiwi. You know what I mean? So I reckon that's freaking sick for the Pelbros specifically, because it's like, hey, kind of close to home, don't you reckon?
Yeah, he's like he's the BI guy that we can support now, and he's actually on our team.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I just want to say, because I forgot to mention it, and you mentioned it briefly. I think our rebounding gets better with Steven Adams.
Yeah, for sure. Defensive rebounding, especially too.
Yeah, and he is actually one of the best offensive rebounders as well. So
my bad,
we've already got Zion, and then we've got Steven Adams. Surely we're going to be raking in a lot more possessions for our plenty of missed shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, any other thoughts from yourself?
Only kind of thing is that I guess the main kind of thing is like I was saying before, in terms of like what we could be comparing to. I guess the biggest beef people have with Steven Adams is that he's just like another D Faves kind of center, as opposed to more versatile center, in which I guess the quote unquote floor is more spaced out or something like that, right? But I reckon it still kind of works out because of the fact that we've still got shooters like you mentioned before, JJ, Lonzo when he can, and then main thing too is Zion, right? Zion can still shoot too. Let's not forget that. we can't necessarily say Steven Adams is the shooter, but so he could be that anchor in the team, which we obviously need, because as soon as, you know, if last year was anything for us, was that as soon as D Favors came back in the mix, we started getting out of that 13 loss streak. So let's not forget that. Like, we do need a kind of solid piece as like a Steven Adams. So I reckon it's alright. He seems like a more cooler version of D Faves. It seems like we'll get. I mean, I'm all happy with the locker room, because it seems like, yeah, he's more banter and shit. That's pretty cool. Young team. But the only kind of thing is, like I said, the spacing kind of thing. People want to beef about what else was in the market. Obviously, everyone's always like, I'm always going to be on the like Miles Turner kind of train too. There's that, you know, like more kind of centers that are more, yeah, like versatile, I guess, in terms of they can shoot too. So now there's more space on the floor, and then Zaya can just go in and freaking do his thing. So what do you reckon about that though? Like, in terms of that issue, I guess the main biggest beef people could have.
Yeah, in terms of spacing, obviously it doesn't get any better. I don't know what exactly the plan is, so hopefully if we flip Bledsoe, it needs to be for a shooter.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it levels out in terms of spacing. Interestingly enough, you know, there are still a few potential guys we could suss out. Like Aaron Baines is still on the market.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ibaka's signed with the Clippers just a couple hours ago, so he was one guy that I was rooting for earlier. So there were a few guys that, you know, I was looking at that I would be interested in. You know, Baines, Paul Millsap, even Marc Gasol. You know, we know Millsap's already re-signed. Gasol's in discussion, but I don't think, you know, Pelicans are even an option.
Yeah.
There was a bit of talk earlier about Baines and Pelicans actually like being in talks. I don't know if anything ever came to it. It could have just been like, you know, sussing out. But, you know, I don't know how much money we have left. Doesn't seem like it's likely, and he'd have to play a backup center role, which don't think really makes sense at the moment.
We already got Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of what we could have got, you know, there could have been other guys potentially, but again, Steven Adams isn't the worst option.
Yeah.
Those other free agents definitely just want to be on a contender, I'd say. You know, like Ibaka could have re-signed with Toronto, but he clearly wants to go to the Clippers to go for another chip, I reckon.
With his boy Kawhi.
Yeah, in terms of what we could have got, obviously potentially more spacing, but you know, in the end, it will turn out to be a pretty good trade for us in the end.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that, but only last kind of thing I want to chuck in there is that I feel as if, yeah, we were forced to make a move, especially when it comes to the center position, because of what's his face, D-Faze re-signing with Utah. I mean, no love lost there, my G. There's that, and then what's it called, Jahlil Okafor actually going to Detroit. That's quite interesting. I wonder how that pans out for him. But so obviously with that, we're like, okay, we're forced to make a move, and the fact is that Steven Adams wasn't obviously a free agent, right? But it's quite interesting because I ended up on this, is that I wanted to say this to you before, but like, you know, like OKC, right? Like their entire situation right now. How I see it, it's kind of like a clearance sale. They're like, okay, quick, 90% off everyone. You know what I mean? Get your like into fast, so like get it now. Get your piece right now. That's why I was like, bro, whoever can get Gallinari, that's gonna be like OP and shit like that. Cause yeah, they're just trading out all their pieces. I guess apart from like, you know, the young guys like Shy and stuff like that, but still trading it all out. And so I'm happy that we actually got you know, a little piece of that action. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, overall, I can be happy with that, especially because of the fact it does improve the overall Drew trade.
Yeah, definitely.